Johnson, hi. Uh, let's see. I'm more of a Google Meet guy. Like Zoom always puts me off. Zoom is little never comfortable.
Yeah, no problem. But I hope everything is fine.
Yeah, yeah, fine.
Okay. Okay. So, Gaurav, so what we will do today is we'll focus on the whole aspect of customer, segmentation, and majorly it is focused on what is the story that you're going to tell. So that in terms of anything that you do, brand positioning, even talking to the investors, and a clear differentiation when compared to any of their competitors that you're talking. So it's like aligning all those aspects. Using a strategy canvas. So that's what we are going to do.
Oh,
Of course, I mean, in the next sessions where you will have experts, they will focus more on go-to-market strategies and business models and what are the other things that needs to be thought of when you're, growing and scaling. Okay. Okay. So before we start, it's as though, we are discussing for the first time. I've seen your work. There are a couple of areas that, I'll nudge you to think a little deeper. But just on the outset, how does your organization look like in terms of value that you're offering to your customers? So let's start from there. Okay,
got it.
so we can start with who are your customers, and then what is the offerings that you're giving to the customers.
Got it. Uh, Johnson, may I know how old are you? Just for my reference. Uh, may I know how old are you? Uh,
Sorry?
yeah, your
Oh,
age, just for my reference.
yeah, yeah, 32. Sorry, could
32.
not hear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we the ideal customer profile that we have is a millennial family. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
someone between 28 and 45, 45, 45, 50ish, but not
Mm-hmm.
beyond that because they are very not keen to change.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and primarily, what we look into is the family aspect is the key part where he or she should be is very closely, let's say, it's married. Possibly they also have kids, one or two kids.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the TG, that is the core audience that cares
Mm-hmm.
for this kind of products. They're ready to pay a premium. We are very clear in terms of all our activities. We have been, Satvik has been leading a lot of offline activities across apartments, and it's like a one line statement saying, this is our audience. We are not talking to anyone else. So every product that we design, and again, it was just a kind of a validation for me, but we know from our own data itself saying this is the audience. And so every product that we design or anything that we do is to cater to the health of that family. So this
Mm-hmm.
family is ready to pay a premium for a good quality product for the betterment of or the overall wellness of the family.
Mm-hmm.
So my whole intent now, or as a business, our intent is to drive that wallet share into our be the prominent brand that delivers that transparency, that efficiency, and gets that wallet share of that healthy budget that they have for their family. First, our first product majorly is consumed by kids. So parents actually buy it for their kids or for their parents. So there's like two audience, but the majority of them they'll actually buy it for their kids. So we have cracked that model saying, okay, this is what we are. So there they care about the fact uh, that there is nothing added to the milk, nothing removed from the milk. So we have not touched the milk. It's pure. It's in that sense. Saying whatever is there in the farm, we just pasteurize and we deliver it to you. We don't do it in, let's say, glass bottles and all because parents are very paranoid about saying where the bottle went, who cleaned it, this and that. And when you have a big half liter, 1 liter bottle at home, kids play around, particularly the TG that I am talking about, the young kids, 3 4 years, they keep running around, playing around, and they might knock some bottles off, and it just creates a little anxiety in the parents. So it was actually a feedback from the customers saying, you know what, please do it in plastic or something. It's not like the paranoia was real with the parents. And so everything that we do is just to cater to that audience, saying, okay, what do they want, and we don't move outside that framework in our core products.
Got it. And when you're saying your offerings, you're basically, I know that if you're relying upon healthy lifestyle TG, currently you are starting with the dairy products,
Correct.
right? So, and majorly you're focusing on whole milk, right?
Correct.
So, is that what brings you customers, or is there something else that we are not aware of, something that you have got insights from your TG?
So we recently, I think 2 months back, we started Farm Fresh whole free range eggs. Again, just to focus, because it was a very loud feedback from the customer saying X beko, and
Mm,
we didn't want to do the regular, let's say, white, like this normal eggs, the caged eggs, because the
mm,
valuation is very low. And one thing that I always keep the bottom line saying, there should be a value addition. This is not distributor like a korpina bele burchi.
mm, mm,
So there has to be a clear validation saying get it with the farmers. So it took us 1 year actually to get our farmers onboarded, saying
mm,
let's do it in small trials, free range, normal eggs. How do we do this? And there's also a nati kori version of it, and but that is not something that we're currently focused on, because in the end of the day, it's also the farmer should get a decent compensation, that he or she should be motivated to continue that run. So we that is so our second product, the product that recently launched is the free range eggs. Again, getting into the natural healthy category.
mm,
We are trying flours, whole wheat flours, ragi flours. We are testing this out where we are doing it freshly milled, so we get it milled right when, let's say, a day before we are kind of selling it. Um, People love the experience, but we're trying to crack how this will work. People are loving it
mm,
because in the offline model, when we are setting up booths and everything at the counters, it's moving very fast. Apparently, Jawar flour, Joda the podi, that is moving very fast, and
mm,
so we're getting this insight saying, okay, customers want this, because if you think about when, let's say, at least when I was uh, in child Bombay, we used to have this chakki. So
mm,
I managed to bring the wheat clean and then give, and so there is like this
mm,
whole process where the parent would be involved. Abhi,
mm,
now what is happening is it's there on the shelf. People don't know where it is coming, what. So that we wanted to kind of try to catch that psych saying, now you are involved. Like, see,
mm,
freshly when you order, it's made for you and it's delivered for you. The price will
mm,
be a little higher, but then you know where the sourcing is
mm,
when it's milled.
mm.
So
And this one, all of that is based on subscription itself. You are not selling it on retail, or how is it?
No, retail definitely we're not doing it. No, retail has a different problem altogether. The mode of operation at retail is very different.
Yeah, I
Uh,
get it.
but
So,
this primarily goes to D2C. So I won't say subscription per se, like, because flower purchases are very once a month type of thing.
mm-hmm,
So subscriptions don't work in that. So we work on one-time basis, where, let's
mm,
say, we send a WhatsApp broadcast to all our customers saying, this is what is there in this week. So we keep a set quantity saying only we'll do only this much for for the time being, to control the quality and everything.
mm,
But at the same time, we send the message on next day. So by Friday, it's a cutoff. So
mm,
Saturday, Sunday, what happens is usually uh, our delivery boys have little time. They can
mm,
stretch a little. So we keep those 2 days to keep non-standard SKUs, which are in exception to milk and ghee. We keep rest all our deliveries on that day. We try
mm,
to do most of that part. So they are also
mm,
relaxed. There is no miscommunications and all those things
mm,
happening.
mm,
So and we are able to still do it in within the TAT, but
mm,
we just want to, because it's a start, it's a new thing for them. They have been doing milk for last 2.5 to 2 years approximately.
Hmm.
So now
Hmm.
this is new for them, where the a new SKU is getting added, let's say every second month.
Hmm.
We don't want to do a wide basket. We just want to figure out where a clear value addition can be given, and then start testing that out. See if that value, if customers are liking that value, and
Hmm.
then maybe kind of structure the business around it, saying, okay, maybe flowers may not work on the subscription front, but if we
Hmm.
understand how much they want every month, we can
Hmm.
deliver it once a month and batch the process and make it once a month. That's it. So the aspect remains.
Yeah, so just keen again. So if you look at what you're trying to do, I mean, just from a third person's point of view, you are, starting with a dairy product.
Correct.
But then you're saying, anyways, I'm selling it directly to the customer. So the customers might also have other needs. Let's say, for example, if I go towards similar commodities, eggs, and maybe, spectrum of dairy products, then eggs and so on.
Correct.
And then you could also talk about flour and all. So basically, what you're doing is, like you said, you are taking a larger chunk of their wallet.
Correct.
Uh, Now, would that make sense, or because then comes what is your gross value of your baskets, and so would that make sense, or would you want to rather be focused around dairy products and then go deep into that? Just make sure that everything around that space you own it as a brand. So how would you look at yourself?
So we definitely are very focused on dairy, but every value addition, like you said, helps me increases the overall AOV that we can generate per household.
Mm,
Uh, the network that we have, the fixed cost that we have, it's very easy to add the contribution margin very back. And again, we don't want to be a complete grocery company or something like that. It's just
mm,
a selective set of products where the the value is very clear. So it's not that you're diluting the brand in any perspective, but it's just that it's dairy. Some people, like say, what we started thinking actually is the morning basket. It actually came
mm,
out of the process saying we don't want to do the entire thing, but morning could ಮಾತ್ರ fresh board up ಮಾತ ವಿಷಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮ
mm,
morning ಬೇಗ ಎತ್ತುವ. Every household we are there before 8. What do customers are asking in that set of, in that category? The number of things that customers have asked, we kind of looked into it, and that is where the milk, eggs, uh, sorry, milk, eggs, bread, and flour came, because some people make, uh, the very few customers actually asked batter and all for us, so we don't want to, we didn't focus on that.
mm,
But flour is again, I'll keep a little, I'll keep it at a pinch of salt, saying it's still under trial, so I wouldn't go. I want to first learn what they
mm,
exactly want, and
mm.
is the value getting communicated? If not, then we might also stop. So it's not that we're really hell bent on that, but that's where we want to be the person saying everything that you get from Canada has to be fresh, natural, healthy for your family,
Mm.
and it's always whole. So we want to give the whole food to the customers. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, again, so let's say, for example, you have different SKUs. Now, again, in dairy, you would have milk, and then
Ghee,
ghee, and
paneer,
then curd, paneer,
curd.
and so on, right? And if you add a new segment altogether, like eggs, and so on, I'm just thinking that would it be more about farm to fresh, or because see, in each of these cases, the moment you're adding an SKU also means some sort of an inventory, etc. But again, if you're talking about something that is fresh, bread and all, would you? I don't know whether you can do it on the same day. But I'm
T
just thinking,
minus one, T minus one,
hmm?
T minus one.
Team.
Our entire supply chain is where you don't strain anyone. So it's T minus one. We all work with artisanals only in that sense. Saying, because again, we don't stock anything. Even if today we don't stock, exception of ghee, that too is a rolling stock, saying sometimes we get a sudden request. We have been in that position. So in that case, only ghee is the one product that we have, let's say 10, 15 bottles in stock.
Hmm.
All the rest of the products, any product that you name, let's say even the bread that you're going to start, it'll all be pre-order basis, saying, or subscription basis, as you say. Even this flour and all, people cannot order on the go with us. So it
Hmm.
has to be said to us, and then we'll make and we'll deliver. I think it looks very inefficient, but for the customer, it's very, the message is very clear, saying "Akil ready जाओ पूरा month कंत कर फिर." Then that thing sticks with the whole narrative or the whole communication, saying okay, this is there. So the customer is also not rushing. It's not a quick commerce thing. So even their head is very very clear. If you want the quick commerce thing, we'll go to them. There's already enough people to do that. So that
Okay.
is, yeah.
Okay. So, in this fresh morning basket, what would be the items you said? So, one, of course, is the milk.
So
Um,
yeah,
s-
milk for sure. Then there will be ghee.
yeah.
Uh,
So, milk and,
the dairy,
the
milk and
adjacent.
dairy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there'll be
Dairy.
eggs, bread, whole wheat bread, and but these are primary flours. Sorry, people make chapatis and everything in the morning. So flours also. The last thing that came was the dough, but it was not the most loud signal. But I think there is a whole subset of customers who want it because our parents used to make dough very early in the morning. Nowadays, we don't have time for that. But again,
The
we have.
chapati dough, is it?
No, even the dosa batter.
Uh-huh.
Sorry,
Batters.
dosa batters.
Okay.
But again, there are players in the market, but those are very, let's say, even ID and all. They look like an FMCG, right? So people, anti FMCG is where people come to us, saying if it's fresh, then it's, let's say, Canada. Otherwise, it's then सबको same ही है. There's no difference.
Hmm. Yeah. So that's what. So, if somebody has to choose you for the morning basket,
Hmm.
again, is there a reason why you would want to be morning basket? Because you can still think about buying something that they can use it for the entire day. So that is also another way of increasing the gross order value, right? So, would you want to be focused around in the morning? Is there a reason for it?
So it's just to keep the company focused, because, like you said, the every SKU is a little different. Every that more or less everyone's currently every product has a similar handling. For a cold chain, although eggs are not required per se, but we still maintain it in cold chain so that this weather sometimes eggs get spoiled. So even similarly with the bread. So we need to have that cold chain in place. Otherwise, 3 days shelf life is there, but still to ensure that the customer gets the fresh part. So we are managing in that way. So it's just to keep the company focused and not moving too much away from the DNA, so that the learning curve is very small. So even the team can adapt. Now there are 9 people in the back end. There is 30, 40 people in the front end. So we have to now every decision I take, I have to be very conscious on that part. So that is why it's morning basket, saying if we can increase the AOV in this sense, the company will make decent, let's say, have a decent margin, and then we can strengthen our position and then figure out if at all there is something we can do. But this is what I'm talking is purely from the local business perspective, where let's say we have the distribution channel, our distribution, our customer base, everything is a little set right now, saying we know what we're doing, where we're going. So that part is set. That is where we started kind of experimenting on this products. But having said that, let's say when a parallel product of yogurt and skiers are being developed, that is our general, let's say, a whole day consumption kind of
Hmm.
story that fits well. But that is more like a Bangalore story because the data doesn't work in the favor of skiers, at least in Bangalore, what we've learned.
Got it. Got it. So, in this space, who is your competitor? If you were to think of somebody who has taken this spot of a fresh morning basket.
There are very few people who do it, and again, they're all unorganized. So, uh, so you find a lot of these unbranded players who are doing it in the market. But the problem with them is predictability.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Scale issue will be there.
no, no, actually, scale issue is not a problem. Actually,
Hmm.
we also don't operate at much scale. But the thing that with customers, and if you notice, the kids is a very important part. Is with respect to kids, we have to be very punctual. It's like बहुत ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम होता है. ಒಂದು ಕುಡಿ ನೇರ್ಪಿನಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಕಾಂಡೆ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ ನೇರ್ಪಿನಲ್ಲ ಸೇಮ್ ಇರಗೆ
Got
ಪ್ರಾಪರ್.
it.
So we have been there. So that is where most people uh, miss, my most of my competitors miss. Uh, and that is where we are very focusing. Whatever happens, even if you deliver, let's say, egg ಪಾಡ್ಜಿನ ಪೊಕ್ಕದ ಪೂರ ಪೋವಾಡಕ್ಲಿಗೆ. So we are very hell bent on the time aspect.
Hmm.
And so that is where most of the unorganized players are not organized like us, where there's a support, this backend, everything is very trackable, saying where the product is, what is happening. So we have
Hmm.
answers to those questions, and we are available for the customer. So that is where the customer service angle is where the whole differentiation happens, the service
Got it.
aspect.
Got it. So when you say customer service, is there an application like how we have Blinkit or something, or how is it?
Currently, it's all WhatsApp driven.
Okay.
We might see a time when we are doing applications, but I don't see a need because customers are very comfortable with what they are doing. Then there will be one more layer. The more walls we introduce in the system, I'm just little cautious saying let's do it at the right time. Until
Yeah,
then,
but
we
do
have
they
to
get to order in the app?
in WhatsApp.
No, do they get, okay, the store itself is in WhatsApp.
Right, right. So currently, it's all when we send them a message, they pre-order and everything. But with the app, we will definitely do a full service app,
Hmm.
subscription-based app, subscription
Hmm.
and one-time both. So
Hmm.
the app will cover the aspect, but it just creates one more layer. Actually, we right now we definitely need an app. There's just too many messages that come at one point of time.
Yeah,
So
because I'm just thinking from a CRM point of view,
right.
tracking orders, ensuring that the delivery is done, etc. I think the more you scale, it will become more and more chaotic.
Correct, correct. Yeah, we have in that phase where I was thinking once in January to push that release, and but we wanted to even with milk the work has increased a lot with the dairy.
Hmm.
When I say milk, dairy as a category.
Hmm.
So we definitely are in the phase where we have to accelerate, bring an app. The only aspect is the customer. I don't want to lose the sight of the customer, so that I'm very little cautious about that part.
Yeah, when you say losing customers, what do you mean?
I always feel that the more touch points you introduce in the system, irrespective of whichever product or whatever it is,
Hmm.
you tend to build one more wall in the on jagad pala ilaga. So like
Hmm.
pal pal ಅಂತ the boundary cut on. So
Hmm.
I felt that in my previous company also, and today also. See, I've seen how, because we were so close to the customer, when the whole universe was raising, God knows how much money. We never raised that much, but even today, those customers are with us. The AUMs are so high. Like we were in the investment field, so the AUMs are still so high that no one can see us in terms of how much money are we making in the
Hmm.
investment space. I think because, and even in our segment, the reason we kind of reached whatever we did with all the mistakes that we did was because we had the pulse of the customer saying whatever it is, we are there, we understand what they're doing, and
Hmm.
so we can adapt quickly to whatever the problems where there's no Chinese wall between their problem and us. So it's
Hmm.
very direct. So we get it and we fix it, and then the customer has complete trust on it, saying yeah, they're listening to us.
Yeah, so but you can, if see, if the WhatsApp interface is still working, so I think you can still build the CRM that is integrated to the WhatsApp,
Got it. Yeah.
right? And therefore you can have all the trackings done, the entire dashboards and the tracking done behind WhatsApp, but you can have all the interactions still done on WhatsApp. Like you can still send messages to them. You can have a company WhatsApp
Got it.
and then do these exercises. But I
Got it.
feel that at one point of time, it's like it will be too difficult to manage, especially if you're going to new regions, you're adding new regions, and then all the houses in that region, etc. So it might be, and you might need some intelligence tools that kind of flags and tells which issues should be resolved first, etc.
Priority. Yes. Got it. Got
Okay, so
it.
with these things that you have said, if you were to meet somebody and just tell what you want a story to be passed on, what would that be? Like, if it is one sentence, one tagline, tagline as in it becomes easier for me to remember, but also to tell somebody. For example, right now, when somebody asks what Canara Farms is, I tell they are a fresh or whole milk, dairy product company. But then, today's conversation, I realized that you're not a dairy product company, right? You're a fresh morning basket organ company, right? Which is delivering fresh basket every morning, right?
Mm.
So it's a very different story because, and then it kind of reminds me that, hey, which means I can also order these things from you. And that becomes easier for me to communicate. So if I were to tell somebody tomorrow what Canara Farms is, I'd say everything that you need fresh in the morning basket, that's what they deliver,
Correct.
right? So
Got it.
so if you were to tell this story, what would that be? I mean, and that's something that we want to now emphasize on, right? So if you meet, say, for example, tomorrow when you're talking to go-to-market strategies, or maybe in the longer run, we are talking about some experts will come and help you in operations.
Mm.
Then they will start talking about these fragments in operations. Say, for example, even if you're talking about dairy, or you're talking about the whole poultry industry, then they will talk specifically on what's the margins there, how you are dealing with it. If this X tomorrow have to scale from, maybe you're selling 1,000 units today to 1 lakh units, where are you going to get your supply from, et cetera, et cetera, and what regions to cater from? How are you going to compete with some things that come from, let's say, Coimbatore, because they are like the poultry giant in India. So how would you? So those are questions that will come. So it becomes critical that you start positioning yourself and say, this is what we do and this is what we want to become, and then you can frame everything around it.
Got it. Got it. Mm.
So would you still say that you want to become the fresh morning basket company?
Yeah, so what we'd say at one line is anything and everything you need fresh, natural, healthy every morning, we're delivering it to you. So whenever these three words is where the whole game is. So any competitor you can, any mass large scale competitor, someone like a Coimbatore, because even for paneer, then all those markets are, those people are like something different. So but then comes the fact that okay, it's produced there, it's traveling, let's say, X amount of kilometers, or hundreds of kilometers to reach you. It's on the shelf for God knows how many days. Here, it's very local. It's sourced locally. It's delivered locally, fresh in 1 or 2 days. That's it. So it's natural and healthy for you. And so that is where the whole aspect. Now tomorrow, because we are using the word healthy, we may or may not do white bread. So
Mm-hmm.
it is a conscious positioning saying we may or may not do caged eggs.
Mm-hmm.
So should we do it? Should we not do it? But then
Mm-hmm.
if we do it, then the positioning becomes dilute, saying okay, now they're ready to do anything that can be delivered in the morning. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a very conscious call saying okay, we'll only do wheat bread. So because the TG that we cater to, for them it matters.
Got it.
If we are catering only to the top 20% households in in the region, and we focus to cater to them only going forward, uh,
Got it.
because it will, that is the only way our service costs can be covered also. Otherwise, with regular milk and regular products, there's no way we can make money out of this.
Okay, so with this information, let me now go back to your sheet.
Hmm.
1 second. Okay, so it becomes easier now for you to understand how we do this exercise. Okay,
Got it.
so most of the things that you mentioned during our discussion is not available here except for the farm fresh. Okay, but what I realized when we were talking is that there are a couple of areas, so that we are, first of all, your competitor is not Nandini Toned Milk, right? Of course, they are one of the competitors, but your competitors are anybody and everybody, probably even just a logistics a company, or like a big basket which is trying to deliver things. I'm not saying big basket is your competitor, but I'm saying anybody who's going to come in that space, who is going to aggregate the best farm products to your space, which means your whole exercise will be on educating your farmers. You're a farmer friendly organization, because you're ensuring that all of these guys also earn decent money so that they don't go for adulteration and things like that, right?
Right.
So you're more of that organization, so that element has to come here.
Hmm.
Again, the whole aspect that we spoke about, transparency is one of the things that it came very evident that there is no reason for any customer to continue to be with you unless and until you're very transparent, and you discuss openly about your practices, where you get it from, which region you come from. That's one of the reasons your customers will be more educated, and they wouldn't buy something from maybe north or maybe from Coimbatore, places like that, just because they can save some 5 rupees from each of this. So all of these are things that you will have to put here, because that's the space that you're going to invest on.
Got it.
Which basically means, educating means you will spend some time there. Why this is so important, what kind of products you are selling, and why you are only selling this. Transparency. So how can you bring this aspect here? So in every product that you sell, can you also put some sort of a QR code, and then see, people can scan it and say which farm it has come from,
Yeah.
right? So that part is like an offering. It builds trust with you, and therefore that's something that you're going to raise. So trust becomes an important offering here,
Got it.
right? And interesting thing is, you have not said anything that you are going to create. Okay, so create is also very important, because it creates a significant variation from what others are offering today. Okay, so that becomes very critical,
Got
what
it.
you're creating. So, maybe something like transparency is something that you can create. I don't see any other organizations which are doing that today. Let's say, for example, transparency could be as simple as, if these are farms, is there a way they can, get to know how the hens are or how the cows are? Because you also believe in this aspect of what range free and so on, right? Free
Correct.
range hens and all that. So people would love to see it. So is
Got
there
it.
a possibility that maybe once in a while you can also see these things? So things like that. So what can you create, which
Mm.
becomes a complete differentiator? And all of these things that you're doing is to retain and attract new customers.
Correct. Got it.
So by doing that, your cost of acquisition of the customers comes low, because
Mm.
of which you are able to deliver better offerings. And most of your customers are going to come from word of mouth,
Correct. They
right?
actually do.
And your frequency of the orders are really high. So if the unit economics is positive, I don't see a reason why, why you would have any problems, because these are daily products, and therefore the frequency is high. So the only question comes is, why would they retain with you? Which means those offerings become critical,
Mm.
right? So when we were doing this exercise, so I've written down these things for you. So
Uh, Gangan, I think there's some call from my factory. Just one. Can you give me 1 minute? Just I
yeah,
think
sure,
it's
sure.
an
Sure, sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so therefore I've written down those areas for you. So the differentiators could be farmer friendly, thereby ensuring. So again, this is something that you need to communicate, how you ensure that adulteration is not done, why it is not done, because you're farmer friendly, you pay more to the farmers, etc. and then educating the customer. So what kind of contents can you create, which will also allow you to have more in the top of the funnel, so the customer acquisition cost can come down. And then transparency is an interesting area, which can also be a good offering. It's a value offering apart from all the things that you're selling to them. So how does your product have transparency in it? So those are some of the areas. And then of course, probably in the next discussion, we will have more in terms of operations. So what kind of tools or technologies would be, essential? Again, I think Satvik also can help you in getting connected with some of these techies who can help you to build those CRMs. So that while you are doing whatever you're doing, so there can be a bunch of people who can help you to build, because there are dime a dozen tools today, which becomes easier for them to build those kind of CRMs, which is very customized to your business. And with all the WhatsApp integrations that we're talking, so there are tools like N8N. You can do a small test experiments, and then you can quickly build and see how does it help you in terms of your operations. But in the long run, I think it will definitely become important.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah. So if you can capture these things and then use it in your storytelling, and then how you're positioning your organization differently, and if the whole exercise is all about, again, storytelling, ensuring that the positioning is separate, so that henceforth with whomever you are going to talk, the experts, etc., you are consistent with your terminologies. Becomes easier for everybody to help you. For example, if you showed me the first chart, I would have given you all my thought process perspectives on that. Whereas what you have told today, this is what you're basically trying to say, and not what you have mentioned. So it becomes much more easier for the experts to kind of help you. And sometimes there is always this thought process about, do you want to go horizontal or do you want to go vertical? And what these things that you're saying, if you are able to confine it, make it more articulative to the experts, they'll give you better advices.
Got it. Fair enough. I'll keep that in mind. I'll
Yeah.
update this entire thing in my pitch.
Yeah. So that's it. So any questions, any discussions, any pointers that you wanted to add?
Uh, but one thing for sure is we do want to do a full service, let's say, let's say, grocery, anything related. That is, idea is that every point that we think about is I also think on the cost front, saying that okay, these are the fixed costs that I already have. How can we deliver some more value? If I could deliver 20% more value to the customer, that is straight up, let's say, add to the bottom line rather than. But again, creating the, like you said, if we go too much wide, it just breaks your the core competence goes away. So we still want to be focused on that, but saying it will only be in this category that we want to work and see where that category takes us to. Saying okay, that itself is a differentiator.
Correct, correct. So, I mean, even if you look at this formula that we just written, so how do you increase this by 10%? 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 Each of those 10% can contribute, immensely, right? So, at the same price that you're doing, how can you increase the leads by 10%? So, this is where we are talking about creating educational contents, talking about your farmers, because this builds trust, and people meet everybody else, right? So your bottles, your packaging that is available on inside every houses, especially when you're able to capture a larger space in the kitchen,
Mhm.
your brand automatically speaks, right? So
Right.
and that's the interesting space to be in. So your leads can also be generated by how you are packaging, and how you are creating those baskets,
Mhm.
which goes onto the dining table. So anybody who walks inside, maybe for the breakfast, or maybe even extended for lunch, or your yogurts and all that you're speaking about, it's also generating leads for you, right? And then your conversion, again, how you're talking about transparency, convenience. D2C is all about convenience. How do you make sure that it comes, like what you said, comes before that speculate that specified time? and then differentiation in your product. So this is where you are going to ensure that there is retention of your customers by the differentiated product. Now, hands down, what you're talking about in terms of authenticity, zero adulteration, etc., health benefits, and so on. But also, the differentiation could also be in terms of ensuring that is transparency, and you kind of give them out which region it is coming from and why it is important for them to understand this region is very in proximity, etc. And the last part is margin. Interestingly, you have written the pricing, you are reducing the pricing, but I feel that you should actually keep the pricing at that. At one point, I don't think you can go to the scale of Nandini, but you can actually play with really good margins and have a sufficient scale that helps you to thrive in your business, bring more innovations and so on, right? So which basically means you can still, you know, you can still push the margins higher because of the kind of value that you're going to get, and because you have a good product mix, the eggs, the breads, the milk, and the adjacent products. Because you have a good blend of it, you can still play around with the margin, and you can have a sizable margin on every basket. So that would be it would be an interesting thing to see how you can mix it. So a combination of all these things can push your average sales value from a particular region, not specifically from a house, but definitely from a region. So yeah, so these are the things that you can think of when you're trying to henceforth position storytelling, even the people that you're going to talk to henceforth.
Got it. Totally fine. I'll actually keep this in pointers in mind. I have a couple of comments. Sure.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it, Gaurav. So this was the exercise that I wanted to do,
This is really
which would
helpful
help you.
actually. That
Yeah.
lead conversion flow is my, if you ask me, my that is my uh, decision matrix. I look at that every day. The sales is equal to leads into. So I write it in different ways, but
Okay.
essentially that is what I do, because in the end
Okay.
of the day, that is where